Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. We spent some time exploring, can we get to the world map? Maybe not. Exploring out towards Varnhold, and all the enemies there are way beyond our level, but we did get Kaliki and Kinnera as party members, and we've now made it back to, back to town. But I want to see what we have around town. So there's supposed to be new merchants in the area, in theory. Not seeing them though. All the merchants I saw there are ones we already knew. Maybe they're just talking about Bakken? Or maybe we need to meet them in our throne room. Maybe it's an event like that. Your Grace, we just teleport to our chair. Keston looks troubled. Keston has a troubled look on his face. I fear there's another matter that requires your attention. There have been reports, many of them, from settlements across the Gnarl Marches. There are trolls in the forest, seemingly hordes of them. We do have a quest line called Troll Trouble that going to talk to the nymph is part of. Rumors claim they're more than the typical savage beasts. They almost seem to show reason and tactics. They form groups, attack all at once, plunder the villages, and carry away their peasants. Even stranger, kobolds have been spotted among their raids, when usually they would have been attacked on sight. Keston falls silent for a moment. I'm not certain any of this is reliable. Fear builds mountains and molehills. Some of the rumors even say the trolls carried torches and burned down houses, seemingly unafraid of open flames. It's entirely possible the rest of the reports could be exaggerated as well. The common folk will hardly heed any simple extortion. Someone will need to go to the Gnarl Marches to investigate the matter. I was considering the matter when it hit me. What if you were to take on this investigation yourself, Your Grace? Baroness's duty is to her people. I'll head south and look into the situation. Or chaotic neutral. You believe trudging through swamps and chasing rumors to be part of a Baroness's duties. I may have time for this later. I mean, it's the chaotic option. But, yes. Also, chaotic is in excitement. Seems like that would be exactly the sort of thing to do. Rather than just sitting around in town. But I'm going to ask it. It's not saying no, we're just trying to get his perspective. You believe trudging through swamps and chasing rumors to be part of a Baroness's duties? Forgive me, Your Grace. However, if this problem isn't handled now, by next month there may be no one left to save. Keston shifts uneasily. So, if you do decide to go, please remember that trolls can only be killed with fire or acid. Alright, well, thanks for the warning.
Trolls who didn't fear fire? That sounded terrible, and dangerous, and terribly dangerous. If we couldn't rein them in, our young barony would be eaten up in a snap.
I was hoping to read it while the dialogue was going on, while the voice, but I guess we have event outcomes and consequences. Every event can resolve in one of 4 ways. Disaster, the dice roll is an 8, is 8 points or more below the difficulty level of the event. Failure, the dice roll is up to 7 points below the difficulty level. Success, the dice roll is equal to the difficulty level or up to 6 points above the difficulty level. Or triumph, the dice roll is 7 points or more above the difficulty level of the event. The outcome may affect the barony's stats. There are 2 types of events, problems and opportunities. If a problem event ends with a failure, it decreases your stats. If it ends with success, it has no effect. Succeeding at an opportunity event will increase your stats, and it normally will not affect them if the outcome is a failure. Each success or triumph increases the stats the assigned advisor is responsible for by 3. Okay. Does that... So, in the case of problems, on successes they have no effect. If you get a triumph on a problem, will it still increase your stats? Unsure. So yeah, we need to go look at trolls. Trolls who don't fear fire. Sounds troubling. So let's manage kingdom affairs. It's showing that there's something for me to take care of here. Troll invasion. Keston arrived at the castle with reports of strange trolls swarming the Gnarl Marches. Visitor has met with the Baroness. Yes. Okay, and we've got 2 more events going on. Tenebrous Dreams. Recurrent dream has recently been troubling the Baroness's slumber. We had that before with the guy, the dead guy at the bridge. She sees valiant heroes entering ancient ruins to descend under the ground, never to return. Their faces show stern resolve, their lips pinched thin. The angry red sun follows the heroes into the darkness, casting its fleeting evening rays upon them. Just before waking, the Baroness hears a faint whisper. Come to me, hero. I wait you here in the Tenebrous depths. I mean, it's not strong encouragement to go to wherever the Tenebrous depths is. Heroes going underground and never returning. Then Enchanted Wind. News has arrived from the largest observatory in the Five Kings Mountains. The enchanted lens of their main telescope broke. The destruction of such a powerful artifact caused a gust of enchanted wind, which is now moving toward a region of the barony. You should seize this opportunity. So we could put in our High Priest or our Treasurer. High Priest is busy. So we could put in our Treasurer. Only 50%, but it's an opportunity, so there's no penalty if it fails. We just get a bonus if it succeeds. So I don't really want to spend one of my crisis points on it. Let's see if there's any way that Kenora can make some money off of it. Kenora seeks to fill the barony's coffers. That's all. Okay. Yeah. You can give it a shot. And you still have 2 more days. Alright. Storyteller, we've gained some more items. Storyteller twitches as you approach. Ah, your grace, my stories are calling for you. Have you come to answer their call? I brought some relics. Are any worthy of a story? Storyteller eyebrows raise. How interesting. May I, your grace? He gently touches the items from your pack. A coin from a non-existent country. When Korl the Conqueror mastered Rosalind, having claimed it for Brevoy, he prohibited the issuance of such and use of such coins. Both ordinary folk and the Aldori sword lords were required to use new coins decorated with Korl's profile, but no one was quick to be rid of these prohibited coins. Oh no. In many houses, they still store boxes and whole chests of such coins, waiting for the day when Rosalind declares its independence. I think we've read that before. Yeah, and about the Taldan warrior dog tags. Okay. I found the shards of an ancient artifact. I think we got the rest of the amulet. Can you restore it for me at the anvil? May I? The storyteller gently touches the items from your pack. You have gathered all the fragments of the necklace of double crosses. They can fit into my hand. They carry an inglorious story. Allow me to tell the tale as I restore it. I expect the story will amuse you, and perhaps even give you some food for thought. Storyteller shudders, his face grimacing in disgust. This is one artifact that would have been best left in the darkness of its past. These scraps you have brought are from the Cloak of Sold Souls. I cannot see its entire story yet, but I can feel it is dark and terrifying. If you should find the rest of the 15 pieces, I will be able to recount the story, but consider carefully. Do you really want to hear it? So, what is your answer? Will you entrust me with this treasure? Storyteller eagerly awaits your response. Yes, restore the necklace of double crosses. The storyteller holds the pieces of metal carefully in his hands. I shall begin. Not every legend speaks of heroic feats. Some tell of atrocities and wicked things. I will breathe my gift into this necklace, that it may tell you something of itself. Okay. So, necklace of double crosses. We've got amulet grants its wearer a +4 bonus to trickery, stealth, and mobility skill checks. Their melee attacks against flat-footed opponents Deal 2d6 sneak attack damage. When an ally moves away from the wearer in battle, the amulet forces the wearer to make an attack of opportunity against that ally. Huh. So while you're wearing it, you get sneak attack damage against flat-footed enemies. But if an ally moves away from... Oh, no, if an ally moves away from the wearer, the amulet forces the wearer to make an attack of opportunity against that ally. So... yeah. Whoever I gave it to would be attacking my other characters if they moved away in battle. That's real bad. I love the 2d6 sneak attack damage, but having one of my people randomly attacking others in the party just because we've moved away from each other seems terrible. So, was there a story you could tell me about that? Because you didn't. We know the story of the drowned trees. This is one artifact, blah, blah, blah. 15 pieces. No, so we need the 15 pieces, I guess, of that other one. Okay. It's weird that there was no story for him to tell on that one. But alright. We do need to rest. I guess while I'm thinking about it, with Jathal, we got a new scythe for you. That is hugely better. And we can level up both Kaliki and Kinnera separately. Or equip them separately, rather. That's interesting. Do they share gear? I'm assuming not. Like, I gave you Amulet of Natural Armor. Yeah, no, you guys don't share gear. They just happen to both have a light crossbow and chainmail or chain shirt +1. Weird. I'll look into that later to see if there's something I want to do to equip them. I guess I can give them each rings in the usual. So, not me. You two. Ring of Protection, Cloak of Resistance. Ring of Protection, Cloak of Resistance. Excellent. So we'll rest to heal up, because we were in a bad state. Just a quick check, because we slept again, so is Tristan closer? No, still 2 days. So this is a problem that, is it going to force me to come to Tenebrous Depths? Or, yeah, Tenebrous Depths, because there doesn't seem to be an event that I can activate. Unlike, say, the level up, that I can start the event. Alright, so let's head out. I don't think we have anything left to do in town. I'm still a little confused by the more merchants in town event. Also, I was kind of expecting that we'd run into Bakken here, but I didn't see him in the in our throne room or around town. Maybe he's in the bar, that would, or the tavern, but that would strike me as a little bit weird. Or maybe he is around and I just wasn't specifically looking for him.
I'm there.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know if I've talked to you. I know the traveling merchant. A tanned half-elf merchant gives you a polite bow. His thick chestnut hair shows a slight touch of gray at his temples, a sure sign that he's in his 7th decade. Mature, but not old age for a half-elf. I'm happy to welcome you, Your Grace. I'm Enno, or Eneo, wandering trader in curiosities. I have come to your lands recently and hope to stay here for a while, until the road calls me again. Tell me about yourself. I prefer to travel the wild and sparsely populated corners of the continent. The farther I wander from big cities, the trade routes, the less competition I have from the rich merchant guilds. In my travels, I sometimes manage to acquire true curiosities. Of course, sometimes I get into trouble instead. Few can boast of escaping a giant scorpion by climbing a mammoth's cactus. Sure. Let's look at your wares. So you don't have much. Boots of Elvenkind, a shock longbow +1, longsword +2, keen elven curved blade +1. And Boots of Elvenkind, I guess it's only +5 to mobility. Depending on the edition of D&D, I think Boots of Elvenkind are often pretty impressive. But in this case, not particularly. Let's head out of town. I think we've seen most of what we're going to see here. Who would I want to bring? Part of me wants to bring the twins because they hit super hard. But I have to replace a ranged character. Do I replace Octavia? Maybe. Then we still keep 3 frontliners and 3 backliners. There's still the thought of potentially replacing Lindsay with Tristan, but I'm not confident there. We'll give this a shot. It's still showing that there's quests here. So for that one, I'm supposed to head somewhere to the Gnarl Marches. Loyal Servants. Unlock a new leader post. I have a feeling that just 5 leaders won't make a real council. I hope the Baroness can find a few more positions in her government or come up with some. Makes sense. And then Court Alchemist. Build a laboratory. Right, I've started on the herbal hut in Tuskdale. I was actually hoping to look at the buildings. How do I do that? I know it's a thing. Maybe I have to do kingdom management. That's probably what I'm missing. There we go. So if we go here, does that show that all the buildings are done? I think so. So yeah, we've got a monument still being built in 2 more days. But we've got the herbalist hut, shrine, and longhouse done. So they're giving us minor improvements. And once we can upgrade the village to a town, we can upgrade the herbalist hut to a alchemist laboratory, which is what Bakken needs. So Bakken's probably chilling out in Oleg's trading post until we finish that. Now, our quest for here, Verdant Chambers, is way over there. So I guess let's start heading in that sort of direction. We haven't been down here yet to the ford across the Skunk River. So let's check it out. And I think this is going to be a safer direction as opposed to the awful Earth Elemental and Gargoyle side of things that we were dealing with before. Because this seems to be the direction the game wants me to explore. I was sort of just wandering on my own, and the game did not want me doing that, based on the difficulty of the enemies. Oh, hello there. Dead gnome, maybe? And a ferocious wolf.
Serves you right.
Not that scared of the ferocious wolf. Even 3 of them. 4 of them. So for you, you have an ability to switch right? Is that a thing I can do in combat? Yes. Call forth Kaliki. It's a standard action. I'm gonna pull that off to the side. So you spend your standard action to switch places with your sister. Okay. So if I get into a combat and I realize I really don't want fire, I want cold damage, then it's just a click away. Enemies that are leaving bags. Historically, when they've done that, it means that there's invisible treasure that is handled incorrectly. Yeah. It's weird. Seems like a pretty big region to explore, just based on how wide this area was. Let's check out the map. Yeah, this is a big area. I will take the mushrooms.
I'm off.
Okay, we've reached the edge. Let's fully explore. Oh, we can't get up there. Alright. I still want to explore around. Make sure I'm not going to miss anything. Whole bunch of kobolds. We are interested in trolls that are apparently hanging out with kobolds. It's amusing that we sided with the kobolds in the sycamore tree, and yet these ones are enemies. You would think that it would register and they would be friendly.
Let's make this quick.
But I guess not. Rather than running past a bunch of them, Valerie, attack there. Or Amiri, Valerie, Harem. We've got an archer over there. Let's have the ranged people attack the archer. Oh, okay. Just take him out with long range, heavy fire damage. Excellent.
Follow if you dare.
We'll take the gold and spell. The camp looks habitable. Its owners must be somewhere nearby. I think the owners are lying dead there. The gnome fought fiercely, but eventually they were outnumbered. Yeah. I guess I'll take the crowbar. I don't know what use I'll have for it. Cooking Almanac of the Inner Sea by Jubilost Narthropple. We've read that before. Fighting the Bleaching. Practical Guidance by Gisa Nordicani. The youth shall leave their malady behind. The bleaching does not cling to people until they mature. What is the color of your skin? Apple-cheeked yesterday, but deathly pale today? That's an alarming sign. Closely monitor the conditions of your skin, hair, and eyes. Never be bored. Curiosity is your best protection. Have a finger in every pie. 4. Don't break your neck. Be prepared to stand up for yourself or run for your life when you venture out to seek adventure. 5. Never give up. There's a remedy for the bleaching, and it isn't pills. Buy a new wardrobe or a new lover. Can stop the disease, and a proper journey can prevent its onset for a long time. 6. You're not alone. Find yourself some soulmates. They might just give you a new lease of life. Yeah, so bleaching is an aspect of gnomes in the Pathfinder setting. It's not part of 5th, well, I guess D&D in general, to my knowledge, where they can essentially live forever, but the more bored they become, the less chaotic they slowly bleach. Their hair, skin, etc. goes grayer and grayer, and they get older and older until they die. And so it's sort of an effect of, if they can keep experiencing new things, they can push off that bleaching, push off aging, for as long as they can, but the more excitement and new things you've done, the less new things there are for you to do. So it becomes harder and harder to keep that level of excitement, to keep pushing off the bleaching. That's my understanding of how it works. Kobolds' corpses are badly burned by by acid and alchemical fire. Mouthwatering broth is simmering in the pot. And yeah, acid and fire, which sounds similar to what you use to fight trolls, like a hint of the troll trouble. But kobolds are supposed to be friendly with trolls, so we've heard. A Sai +1. I don't think I have anyone that's going to need a Sai. That's an unusual weapon. Alright, let's head down here. Hey, you there. Quick, you gotta help us.
Who will prevail?
Random gnome. Jubilost. Gnome guard, gnome guard. Alright. Head on in. Let's see if we can save some of the gnomes. Is that blood flowing down the river? Or is that just the color? I think that is blood. That's a cool effect then. To actually show the blood in the water. Yes, I think all the gnome guards survived. As well as Jubilost. We've read of a Jubilost. Come on. Help the beleaguered travelers. So, the gnome invites some of his friends. Stupid, slow, sluggish gnome. It's Tartuk. Gnome! Stupid. There's a purple kobold on the riverbank who looks just like your old acquaintance, Tartuccio. Kobolds want this card. Kobolds shall have it. The horse skull hides most of the kobold's face, but you see his vicious eyes glinting through the empty socket staring at you. By orders of myself, the glorious King Tartuk. The kobold pounds his chest with his fist. Tartuk, king! Well, that would explain why we're not friendly with these kobolds. The head of the gnome expedition wipes his brow and glares at the kobold. This bastard was the one talking our ears off while the rest of them were trying to steal our cart. King Tartuk, the gnome looks at you and winks. What do you say to a bit of regicide? Tartuccio, I recognize you. What is this new disguise, and why are you not dead? Easy, let's discuss this. No need to shed blood over some cart. Or attack. I've killed you once, and I'll be happy to do it again. Tartuccio, I recognize you. What is this new disguise, and why are you not dead? How dare you speak like that to a king? Kobolds, attack! Shurdaz! 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 Okay, you cast some spell on them.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Tartuk used ability. We don't know what the ability is. Can I tell what effect you have on you? Nope. Because normally effects that are active are marked above the characters. Looks like haste. Based on, I think, the spell effect and their movement speed. I'm guessing they have haste cast on them. It's weird that it's not showing me that. Valerie can't even get to the fight. I'm guessing Tartuccio, or King Tartuk, has wandered off. No, he is still there. See you soon enough. This is not over. Didn't look like a teleport spell. That looked like invisibility, which means we should be able to spot him. Save the cart from the river. Fine. First, I gotta loot all of the treasure that the kobolds left behind. So that's important. Your cart's probably fine. It's unlikely to be getting any worse. Okay, I already looted that stuff. What about over here? Does that still count as being looted? Yeah. What do we have under this brick? Shard of a Knight's Bracers. Trace of lost power could be restored. Neat. I'm holding it. Don't the current drag it under? It's heavy. My nose is itching. Hold it at once. While the gnomes were busy fighting the kobolds, furiously cursing and diligently punching their unwelcome guests right in their dragonish snouts, the cart was all but forgotten. The unwitting cause of the fight, it was being dragged away by the scared ponies when it slid down the ford, sinking all the way up to the coachman's seat in the river. This was where the Skunk River flows into the Tuskwater, and the current becomes excessively spiteful, cold, stubborn, and turbulent. Having taken hold of the gnome's cart, the Skunk River must have decided to drag it down amid all the commotion, but it was caught in the act. So the Skunk River, among the few speedy rivers flowing through the Gnarl Marches lowlands, the Skunk River is the fastest. Along its stream are multiple rapids and riffles, each just waiting to catch a traveler or even a whole cart along one of its few river fords. The river received its name from the rather unpleasant smell of its waters, which only kobolds, mites, trolls, and boggards seem to find tolerable to drink. The smell comes from the several sulfur-rich springs that feed into the Skunk River from beneath the Gnarl Marches. And then the Tuskwater is where, I guess the lake, Tuskwater Lake, is where our town is. Brown rocky lake with numerous gullies and pits of standing water that explode the local populations of mosquitoes, sturges, and assassin vines. At its depths, the Tuskwater is bountiful, roiling with pike, long-nosed gar, bluegill, and fanged eel. The eel, in particular, are heavily valued, considered a rare delicacy on the tables of New Stettin and Greater Bravoy. And the fishermen who plumb the depths of the lake are slow to give up the secrets of avoiding their vicious bites and grasping their slippery skins. So the surviving gnomes, led by the head of the gnome expedition, an extremely loud and crabby fellow, but not without some managerial talent, were able to catch the cart before it floated away. Faces red and grunting from the strain, they struggled to keep it from drowning entirely. Just then, a package fell into the water. With a heartbreaking splash, it vanished beneath the current, only to resurface 10 meters down the river. No! The head of the gnome expedition moaned as he glowered at the package. That was Alchemy and Life, the latest issue. After plunging into the cold river, the ponies immediately lost their nerve. Swiveling their ears and twitching, they tried to chew through the reins and throw off the load. Why are you just standing around? Go on, help them. The head of the gnome expedition was visibly dissatisfied as he shouted. Set a crowbar under the cart's wheels, not a bad call. Choose a character. One of us tried to jump onto the cart and untie the ponies, still standing in the water. Tied a rope to the cart, gathered our strength and began pulling the cart from the river. Or just left the cart alone for a moment, hoping to find something helpful nearby. Let's first set a crowbar under the cart's wheel. Set under the wheel, the crowbar wedged into position against the stones on the riverbed, making it the process of pulling the cart out of the river easier. Do we want to untie the ponies? I mean, I guess if they're pulling it farther down, maybe. But I figured they would potentially be able to help pull the cart out. Maybe not. Let's tie a rope to the cart. We've got plenty of rope, probably. 1, 2, 3, and the rope was securely tied to the cart, making it easier to pull out. A good lesson for every adventure. Never leave home without a rope. Rope is your best friend. Alright, let's try to jump onto the cart and untie the ponies, still standing in the water. So, looks like if we're dealing with mobility, it's going to be Kaliki, or Kenera, rather. Lore Nature, it's tied between Amiri and Kenera. So, obviously, we're going to choose you. It's probably going to make both checks. So, we're looking for the person who's best at both. Maybe. Yes. So Kenera nimbly climbed onto the roof of the cart and carefully crawled towards the ponies. hitched up on the riverbank. The ponies seemed to be relieved to feel a firm hand holding the reins again. They calmed down at once and allowed themselves to be unhitched. In just a few moments, they were standing back at the ford, ready to pull the cart from the river. Okay, so we've basically untied them from the front and pulled them around to the back so that they can help us pull the cart out of the river. That's reasonable. All right, well, gathering our strength, we began pulling the cart from the river. If you're certain you're ready, then let's do it. But be careful. Imagine the cart's full of gold or ale or some other thing you couldn't bear to lose. Valerie frowned. Better you should trust in our dignity than our greed, Sir Gnome. The gnome rolled his eyes. For God's sake, whatever. Just pull the cart. We tried to pull the cart out. The cart creaked and cracked, sounding as though it were sobbing. The board strained against the combined stress of the rushing water's pull against everyone trying to pull the cart ashore. Unfortunately for the cart, both sides were of equal strength. Something had to be done, or the poor cart would be torn to pieces. So Lord Nature, the exhausted ponies had worked themselves up into a lather, and foam covered the bits of their teeth. The Baroness tried to calm and reassure them. So this is us making the check. Lord Nature is not our best. It's not bad, but against a 19, it's not great. Intelligence 13. We've got only a +1 there. Seems that there was little sense in wedging the lever beneath the wheel. It wasn't the least bit stable, and all our efforts on it were wasted. The Baroness tried to find a better use for it. Strength 14, we've got a -1, so we're definitely not doing this. Why think when you have strong hands? The Baroness decided that if the cart won't give, we just need to pull harder. Athletics 20, also definitely a no. A huge stone on the riverbed was blocking the cart, so the Baroness tried to find it and move it out of the way. Or Charisma 15, that is a much better choice for us. We only need to roll a 10 on that. Everyone was soaking wet, freezing, exhausted. The group's initial enthusiasm had all but vanished. They glared at the cart scornfully, ready to give up and forget about it like it was all a bad dream. The Baroness decided it was time to raise everyone's spirits, but be it with a smile, a noble order, some shouting, or even a good round of swearing. So, were there any others that we were even close at? No, that one would have taken a 12. That would have taken a 14. And those are definitely no's. Yeah, we'll use the charisma then. Failed the charisma check. So close. Also, I thought we still have the mod on that should have made it so I can't lose checks. So, something's wrong there. But oh well. It's fine. After resisting our efforts for a while, the cart finally began to give. Squelching loudly in the mud, it jerked forward, and as the head of the gnome expedition opened his mouth to let out a victory cry, but that sly snake of a river decided that if she couldn't have her trophy, no one would. Instead of riding out on the ford, the cart began to lean, then slowly, almost magnificently, fell on its side. The scream of triumph only made it halfway before sticking in the gnome's throat. Son of a troll. The perplexed gnome gazed on it as his collection of boxes, packages, and bags slowly floated away. That gaze then came to rest on us. Well then, thank you, travelers, for your oh so invaluable help. Oh, come on. You couldn't have done it without us. Come on. I don't even know how we failed because I thought that we're not supposed to fail checks. But oh well. The cart and its contents have become completely worthless. You'll have to leave it to rot here. Alright, Jubilost. The gnome that stands before you wears dirty, ragged clothes. They used to look stylish and wealthy long ago, but those times are long gone. His black hair is matted, a deep, fresh scratch crosses his cheek. Despite of this rather pathetic look, the gnome behaves with an inner dignity, and even manages to maintain a superior manner.
Jubilost Nartropple, a humble servant to no one. Too bad your grace proved to not be capable enough to save my cart. Well, one shouldn't expect a fast reaction from a baroness herself. After all, it's common knowledge that titled persons usually hire a bunch of advisors to do all the thinking for them, so they must have some other bunch to jump in the rivers and save carts.
He introduces himself and winces, touching his scratched cheek. So he recognizes us as the Baroness and just insults us anyway. Excellent.
By the way, it's a shame no one organized a greeting party when such a famous and popular person as myself arrived to your capital. I wasn't expecting a red carpet covered with rose petals, but you could at least have sent ahead some delegation.
I don't think we were notified you were coming. All I know about Jubilost here is that we've read his almanac. his cooking almanac.
Oh, at least some of my servants are still alive. Do you know how much it costs to train a proper servant?
Jubilost jabbers too fast, never stopping to even to take a breath. You can see he's piled up some emotions and just needs to get them out of his system.
Also, while I'm on that, I'd like to make an official announcement. The roads in your barony are in terrible condition. People must search for wading fords to cross the rivers because no one had bothered themselves with building bridges, and honest travelers have to take the risk of being attacked by kobolds at any moment.
While I get that this is my barony, I've owned it for like less than a month. The bridges will come, probably, with time. Give me a moment. Same with, random monster attacks. We're working on improving and clearing out the troubles.
So, how did you say your barony was called? Oh, whatever, never mind. When I draw the map of these lands, I will call them the End of All Roads. Dirt Beyond. I guess it's a fitting name.
Thanks. The gnome falls silent at last. He just watches you with his shifty eyes, opening and closing his mouth as if he wants to say something more, but hasn't come up with anything yet.
You think too highly of yourself, Sir Gnome. Behave with some dignity while you're on these lands.
Very agreed, yeah.
Oh, I see. The very spirit of knighthood embodied. So, what do you propose me to do, Sir Knight? Should I lie?
Jubilost eyes Valerie up and down.
By no means. But you shall not be so blunt. I bid you to express your opinion in a more courteous form.
Valerie blushes, but still tries to argue.
Your problem, Sir Knight, is that you worry too much about form and appearance. Unsurprisingly so, considering your pretty face. As for me, I worry solely about the content.
Valerie blushes even more and turns away. It seems that to you that the gnome has stepped on her toes. Of course he has. So how did you know I'm the Baroness?
I've already told you I visited your capital some time ago. Weren't you listening to me? And I'm used to being greeted by officials when I arrive to settlements of at least some importance. The glory of myself and my exploits usually precedes me, and officials usually prefer to be on good terms with me.
Jubilost wonders a trifle too heartily and then smiles slyly. I didn't know you'd come.
Yes, you're right. I should have remembered that your lands are in the middle of nowhere, and you don't get updates on important things in time.
Jubilost thinks this over, tilting his head. It looks like this thought never occurred to him. I don't like your manner of speaking, gnome. Do I just call him out on it? Kind of, yeah. I don't like your manner of speaking, gnome.
So what? I don't like a lot of things. You know what I do when I don't like something? I try to change it. For example, I don't like your barony's roads, so I've reported to the authorities about it, namely, you. And as for you, instead of pouting, you better get down to business and try to resolve the trouble.
Jubilost presses his fists against his hips. Yes, in the same way that you're reporting that you dislike my roads, and I am currently doing nothing about it, I'm reporting that I don't like your manner of speaking, and you are also doing nothing about it. So, yeah, we've got that sorted out.
Oh, I can see it's your first encounter with freedom of speech. Just do what you consider right and let others discuss it. You know, not everyone gets a chance to become a baroness, so discussing a baroness' actions is actually all the unlucky ones can do.
Seeing the spectrum of emotions change on your face, the gnome softens up a bit. Actually, I don't mind the freedom of speech. Lawful neutral, still I'd like you to hold back your harsh comments, or lawful evil, you do realize you're in my lands now, so you can get arrested and executed for statements like that. We're not going to say that. I don't mind the freedom of speech.
Wow, a baroness supporting freedom of speech. Well, that's news. Remains to be seen what you'll say after reading my article.
So what happened here? How did your cart end up in the river?
My party and I set up camp at the bank of this river. We'd just finished kindling the fire when that purple bastard appeared.
Jubilost scratches his chin.
You know what he told me? He introduced himself as the king of the kobolds and told me he needed our clothes because he wanted to dress his subjects properly, you see, as long as they've established the kingdom of their own. That's literally what he said. I wonder, where did he learn the words? Obviously, I told him to buzz off. Some kobold wants to strut around wearing the clothes of the great cartographer Jubilost Nartropple. No way.
Jubilost's face gets red in resentment.
So I've been explaining my position to him, being rather eloquent too, suggesting he and his so-called kingdom might as well fall into the deepest sinkhole. But in the meantime, I've noticed that kobolds have already started to untie my cart. Well, I called my men to keep the cart safe. They couldn't guess what to do on their own, just stood there with their mouths ajar. Then things heated up as the fighting started, and while we were fighting, the ponies dragged the cart to the river. Ah, stupid animals.
You said you were famous, but I don't know you. What are you famous for? You said he's a cartographer, but the book we've read of his is a cookbook. Those are slightly different. You said you were famous, but I don't know you. What are you famous for?
That was either a stupid and offensive joke or a case of total ignorance. The latter, I hope. I'm famous as a traveler, a cartographer, an alchemist, and a journalist. The students of all the major universities study the world using my maps. My articles for different journals are well known everywhere, from Andorran to Brevoy. You've definitely read some issues of National Alchemy, haven't you?
Do I look like an alchemist? Jubilost pouches his lips. We read about Andorran. It's a nation of the people governed by the principles of the common rule, which grant every citizen a voice. Andorran holds the reins of its own destiny in the strong hands of its people. It considers itself the birthplace of freedom. Sounds like a cool place.
Culinary Almanac of the Inner Sea?
We did read that one, yes.
Or the most scandalous one, The Independence, describing benefits and drawbacks of governments and regimes in different states.
I'm surprised Lindsay hasn't jumped in, being the reader that she is.
Didn't read any of these. Oh, well, don't answer that. I don't want to spoil my impression of your barony. It's spoiled enough already. It would be hard for me to write at least something positive otherwise.
Wait, the Jubilost Northropple? Author of the 14.5 eulogies to Pitax? Oh my! Every student in the Academy of Grand Arts devoured your books, especially after King Aravetti banned them, tried you in absentia, and sentenced you to death.
Wow. And she did speak up, so I'm happy about that.
I see at least someone in this shabby barony has at least a rudimentary education, even if they got them in such a dubious establishment as the Pitax Academy of Grand Arts.
I was expelled for irreverence.
Is this so? Well, if it is true, then you just might not be beyond hope.
Fantastic. So what is such a famous person doing this that far from civilization?
I pursued two objectives. The first is to write an article on this new barony of yours for the Independence. The second is to draw a detailed map of the stolen lands. Before this barony appeared, it had been too dangerous to come here, but now an opportunity has appeared. Thanks to you, I must add. So, as you can see, the freedom of speech sometimes grants positive comments too.
Okay. So, as much as he's disappointed in our barony, he recognizes that a month ago it was too dangerous to visit, and we've cleaned it up enough that he's comfortable coming here. So that's at least positive.
Anyway, I'm almost done with this journey. My article is practically ready, so is the map. All that's left to do now is to find an old dwarven outpost established here several centuries ago.
Ooh. Harem's looking for a dwarven outpost. Well, dwarven ruins. Likely the dwarven outpost. Also, if you have a fully ready map, could we use that? Because that sounds useful. We're sort of mapping things out as we go. What is this dwarven outpost you're searching for?
Your ignorance is stunning. You create a barony, and still you know nothing about the lands you own. I'll have to enlighten you on the subject.
Jubilost pouches his lips. I mean, you know of it, but you don't know where it is or anything about it either, it sounds. I mean, maybe you do know about it and you just don't know where it is. That's fair, I suppose.
You see, long ago there was a dwarven trade route crossing these lands. It connected Five Kings Mountains and the north. The route was so important to the dwarves that they were generous enough to set a number of outposts along it, manned with armed guardians to provide protection for the traders.
Yeah, I think Harem was mentioning that it's a trade route connected to the Five Kings Mountains. So, yeah, we're talking about the same thing.
One of these outposts must be somewhere nearby, lost and completely forsaken. But nothing can avoid the watchful eye of the great cartographer Jubilost Nartropple. I will find this outpost, and I will mark its location on the map. You can trust me on that.
Jubilost thrusts out his chest. Tell me, is this old dwarven outpost abandoned? Is it possible it's now used by trolls as a lair, for instance? I mean, maybe. I'm looking for the trolls' lair. Maybe we're looking for the same place. Let's join our efforts and start looking together. I mean, there is an outpost that's still in reasonable shape. Monsters of some sort have probably moved in. I don't know why we automatically assume the trolls we've heard about but haven't seen would be such monsters, but it's possible.
Why not? Dwarves like being underground, trolls like being underground too. It's quite possible after dwarves left, their warm and cozy place fell into the hands of less attractive creatures.
Jubilost shrugs. Yeah, I don't know that we know nearly enough to automatically assume trolls are there, but probably, yes, some less attractive creatures, some monsters are probably in this dwarven outpost. Well, I'm looking for the trolls' lair. Maybe we are searching for the same place. Let's join our efforts and start looking together.
You seem to be a capable companion, but I'll pass for now. I still have to count my losses after the river took my cart and all my stuff.
Jubilost looks you up and down. Alright. So we might meet up again later when we get more information about this dwarven outpost. Well, if I find this outpost, I'll let you know. Goodbye.
I would be grateful. I'll stay here for a while. I need to sort things out.
Okay, Jubilost nods.
I'm off.
So yeah, it's even stating that this is directly connected to Jubilost's, or to Harem's quest.
To victory!
Oh, we've got more wolves and kobolds to fight. Oh, and they are fighting each other. That works out for me. Alright, what do we have in this chest? We've got Galt Ragout? Rago? Butter, mushrooms, and fowl. Don't know what that gives, but we should probably write it in, copy the recipe before I forget. Because I will forget. We've already looted you. And another small box. Frag pendant. Not... So this one doesn't look like it's parts of a whole. This is something that the storyteller will just pay us for.
I do what I must.
Any last wishes?
Alright, we just have a little bit more to explore here on the right side, I think.
I'm there.
Including, you two. Kenora, move back. Lindsay, move back. Valerie, can you tank? Thank you.
This is going
It's always exciting when the party doesn't move in the pattern I want them to. So you just have ranged characters up front. I don't want you skinning them. Hello? There we go. I want the whole team skinning them so I get the best rolls. Also, we've changed up our party. Nope, that's still actually good. You can be in the middle there. Another ring of protection +1. Those things are apparently everywhere. We can't get over to where... No, this is where we saw Tartuk. King Tartuk. But yeah, there's nothing here that we can see.
Follow if you dare.
Well, we've now finished everything here. Let's do one last talk with Jubilost before we leave the area. You sure there's nothing further?
Hey, it's you again.
Jubilost greets you in his usual semi-friendly manner.
I
Alright,
would be grateful.
so yeah, nothing more to say with you. That's fine. Let's just head on out. Okay, I don't need any of that, so we're good. So that'll let us cross the Skunk River here, or we could go to the Overgrown Pool. But if we cross here, that looks like the direction to get to the Verdant Chambers. River makes a sharp bend here, widening into a deep pool dotted with lily pads and fringed with waving reeds. Several freshly felled trees lie beyond their stumps on the shore of the pool, their crowns dangling in the water amongst fading tendrils of mist. Might check that out, but I think we're going to end the episode here. And then next time, maybe we'll swing by the Overgrown Pool or just make our way towards the Verdant Chambers. Probably swing by the Overgrown Pool. But I'll see you guys then. Bye.